CNIB, Lake Joe at home, all things Lake Joe, Pottery.
Hi everyone, it's Madison, the Communications and Operations Intern here at Lake Joe, and I am standing in the porch area of the rec hall where I'm going to show you how to do pottery. So pottery is one of those messy activities, so we do have a variety of aprons that will have you wear from adult size to kid size. So there are two ways that you can do pottery here at Lake Joe. We have the traditional method where you sit down at a table and form things, or we have the fun method, in my opinion, which is the pottery wheel. So you're going to take your clay and you're going to chuck it down in the middle, and then you're really going to want to make sure it's stuck. One really important thing to know about the pottery wheel is that it's not good to let your clay dry off. And a good teller for this will be if it's starting to feel hot from the friction. So now to make your piece hollow, the best way to do it is just to stick your finger in the middle of it while it's spinning, and you'll push it in, but make sure you don't go too deep so that way there's still the base. Again, making sure not to let it dry out. We do have water buckets that will be located next to the wheel, and we will have counselors during this part to help you out with any issues. So now that you have your vessel to your liking, we do have tools that can help you shape it even further to make sure it's not too thick so it has less likelihood of cracking in the kiln, which unfortunately is a possibility. And this is how you use the pottery wheel. It's quite simple, even though you might find yourself having to repeat this process a few times like I have. And in the end, your pieces may not come out perfect, but that is okay, we're just having fun. And again, we will have counselors here at every point during the process that you can always ask for help with. All right, so aside from the pottery wheel, we also have the option to sit at a table and chairs and hand sculpt our clay. This way is also really great because it's really tactile, so you're able to feel the design you're making. I'm gonna try to make another planter, and it will take a little bit longer, but we'll see how that goes. So I just finished doing my hand sculpted pot, which is different than it was on the pottery wheel because you can kind of see my hand marks and fridges, but that's okay because we have handy dandy tools for me to carve those out as well. So really it just comes down to personal preference, whether you want to hand sculpt or use the wheel. Now that my pot has fired and has taken the time to dry and has completely miraculously changed into a teacup, we are gonna paint. We can use our glaze to paint it whatever color we'd like. Just so you know, the glaze that you see in front of you will not be the color it will be once it's out of the kiln because the temperature does change it as it bakes. So now that we have a nice thick coat, we're gonna repeat that process a couple of times just to really make sure the color stands out. And once that's done, we're going to allow this to dry and we'll put it back into the kiln, and then your piece will be done. So pottery at Lake Joe, because we have to fire it multiple times, this activity will be offered multiple times throughout the week. So if you go to the first pottery, that is when you'll be shaping your mug either on the pottery wheel or hand sculpting as we discussed. And then the second activity time will be for glazing. And then you should receive your pottery on your last day. All right, now let's fire it.
Thanks for watching. For more information, visit our website cnib.ca/lakejoe or contact us at 705-375-2630 or email lakejoe@cnib.ca. Special thanks to our 2024 staff member, Madison Merrier.